Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your May 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, you will find all sorts of goodies to explore, including a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading. Only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. It is my absolute pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to share your time, your energy, your attention, and of course, your company. I'm incredibly excited to be sharing with you a spread I've created, taking a look at what you have conquered, where are you gaining clarity, what do you have the opportunity to change, and what might you be celebrating now or in the future. So let's dive right in and see what is going on for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what has Virgo conquered, please? Wow, that was nice and fast. Where is Virgo gaining clarity, please? Thank you. What does Virgo have the opportunity to change, please? Okay, I feel like it's those two there. All right, and what might Virgo be celebrating now or in the future? Okay, thank you. Let's get some clarity for you. Tell us more, please, about what Virgo has conquered. All right, thank you. Tell us more, please, about where is Virgo gaining clarity? That one right there, thank you. Tell us more, please, about what Virgo has the opportunity to change. Okay. And more, please, about what Virgo might be celebrating now or in the future. More, please, about what Virgo might be celebrating now or in the future. Thank you. Okay. Can we please have some advice, guidance, or encouragement for Virgo? Can we please have some advice, guidance, or encouragement for Virgo? There, I feel like there's more here still. Yep, there they are. Thank you. Okay, let's dive in. What have you conquered, Virgo? Wow, we do have the elephant here. Okay, so there's a couple of ways I'm picking this up, okay? One is that I feel like there have been some obstacles in your way. And what's interesting is I feel like for some, it's interesting, okay. So for some, there have been obstacles placed in your way and you have conquered or overcome those obstacles or challenges. For others of you, I feel like there have been obstacles placed in your way and you've overcome or conquered the need to, how would you say, control those, or maybe you've overcome or conquered like the fear or anxiety of actually experiencing those challenges, understanding that the obstacles are presented to you so that you can grow, so that you can evolve and change as you need to. Also, that sometimes obstacles are placed to redirect you. And so for some of you, I feel like you've overcome or conquered the resistance against your own path, right? Because I feel like for some of you, there was a resistance. I feel like there was a path that you knew you were meant to be taking, and there was resistance there. There's like, and whatever, this could be from fear, right? You could have been resistant because you were fearful of what might happen should you follow that path. What if it doesn't work? What if I'm foolish? What if I don't know what the hell I'm doing? Right? So I feel like it could vary depending on who you are, but there is an element there of, yeah, this overcoming of obstacles in some way, shape, or form, even if that obstacle is been, or rather has been, yourself. Okay. I also feel like for some of you, you may have felt like you were in the dark. Um, okay, in a sense, or maybe like you might refer to this as maybe dark night of the soul. It just depends on how you've experienced things. But I feel like for some of you, you may have conquered that. And the means by which you conquered that is by getting to know yourself, reconnecting with your spirit, with your soul, with maybe even God or creator or universe or whatever you refer to it as, and essentially are, how would you say, illuminated things through yourself. It's this self illumination, right? So again, conquering yourself, I feel here in some cases, and that being the obstacle. Let's take a look at the clarity here. We do have the Mother of Cups. So for some of you, this could have been conquering your emotions. In addition to that, so how would we say, the Queen of Cups or Mother of Cups is this very loving, tender-hearted energy, right? So again, we're looking at emotions, we're looking at the depth, right? Also, though, the Queen of Cups is very intuitive, very psychic, very spiritual. And isn't it interesting that just the way I'm holding them up now, she's pointing with her wing there at the elephant. So again, it feels to me like there's been this conquering, if you will, or clearing of obstacles in which by which you've conquered yourself, or you've conquered yourself and cleared obstacles by doing that. Because for some, I feel like there's been this denial again. It's coming up again, this denial of what you already knew to be true. Okay, so that intuitive or psychic or spiritual awareness, already saying like this is what needs to be done, and perhaps resisting that, again, because of fear or whatever the case might be. Yeah, I'm also feeling like for some of you, I feel like there's been in the past, right? Because again, we're looking at what you have conquered already. In the past, there's been some denial of emotion for something. And this could be about a multitude of things, right? But when we look at cups energy, it is that energy of emotions, feelings, relationships, intuition, love, spirituality, those sorts of things. This could also be literally overcoming something to do with a mother figure, or a mother, perhaps. Okay, for some of you, of conquering maybe fears with that, or some kind of darkness with a mother figure. And I'm not saying this, okay, I'm not like knocking anyone's mother or trying to call out anyone's mother, right? We all have our fair share of experiences with certain things, and for some, this could potentially be a mother figure who, maybe, how would you say, it doesn't even have to be like something that a mother figure did. It could just be the overcoming of something to do with a mother figure. Okay, so, or maybe an obstacle that was created, or darkness perhaps that was created around a mother figure. And I don't mean darkness in the sense of like evil or negativity, though that's possible, negativity, okay, or some sort of like negative type of energy. you know, it could very well be just that there's something that some trauma or wounding or something that you may have experienced around a mother figure. Okay. But more than anything, I feel like that's probably not going to resonate with everyone, because I feel more than anything else, there's the energy coming through of overcoming self, of essentially like the obstacle of yourself, of what you already know to be true, that psychic or intuitive energy, potentially overcoming something to do with maybe relationships or love, feelings or emotions, right? Again, it's that obstacle of self, I feel, is what you've conquered. We also have here the Five of Cups in the reverse, which this is an energy showing up here of finding peace, okay? Acceptance, moving on. And so again, it's that energy of like overcoming or conquering emotions. Again, it's cups. It's cups here again, okay? So just to be very clear, conquering emotions. Again, finding peace. I just looked up and we were at 1111 as well. So that tells me that there's been some sort of awakening or some sort of epiphany that's taken place that has, we'll say, I think the best way to describe it is like encouraged you to get out of your own way. Is really is really how it's feeling to me, right? And finding peace, and like this is like, yeah, because it feels like there's been a denial of some kind, right? Like a denial of self, or a denial of circumstance or something, okay, where now there has been this conquering of that and finding peace, and like this is the truth, this is yeah, like this is how I feel, right? We also have here, wow, the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Okay. So this is pretty interesting. I mean, the wheel is pretty powerful, whether it comes out in the upright or the reverse. It is the number 10. It is the major arcana card. That being said, it does say something to a big transformation that's taking place, or a unfolding is actually the word I'm getting. It's the 10, which is typically looked at as the completion of a cycle or things coming full circle or moving forward, which again is indicated by this Five of Cups as well. I find it fascinating AF that we go from 5 to 10. So I do feel like you're growing and moving. However, the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse can feel like you're out of control or had a run of bad luck, or maybe you feel helpless, or have felt helpless. But again, this is what you've conquered. Okay, so it feels very much to me like with the Wheel of Fortune here in the reverse that maybe you've conquered this fear of helpless, or feeling rather of helplessness, right? That you may have conquered this feeling of being out of control, or even perhaps a string of bad luck. And I feel like part of this is because here's the thing, Virgo, and you likely know this, okay, maybe, for many of you, but when you are resistant to yourself, to your truth, that is what the world mirrors back to you, right? So if you keep resisting your truth and resisting yourself and denying truths, then the world mirrors that back to you. Your reality mirrors that back to you, and you will likely experience resistance or obstacles, right? So I feel like with this acknowledgement of your truth and acceptance of how you feel and acceptance of things that, you know, you've been, how would you say, you may have had these epiphanies on, or had the light shed on, or been made aware of, right? You then are able to, I feel like you've been able to accept and acknowledge things, find peace, and then move forward, and by which have conquered that string of bad luck, or conquered that feeling of being out of control, right? And it's fascinating AF to me, because look at all of these cards. right on the table. They have very dark backgrounds. Okay. Then we come to the wheel here. And even though it's in the reverse, look at what's at the top, the sun, right? Or being illuminated to things, having light shed on things, right? No longer in the darkness. So again, even though this 10 or this wheel of fortune is in reverse, the sun is at the top. The sun is shedding light on things. Okay. So I feel like that's pretty incredible to conquer one's self and, conquer us being essentially, or rather creating our own obstacles by being resistant to our truth. It's pretty powerful. Where are you gaining clarity? Okay, so we do have the tiger here. Here's the thing. The tiger is one that is, how would you say, influenced by the lunar forces. I'm getting fear here, which is interesting because there's that darkness, right? And so there's something here about gaining clarity in the darkness. I feel like through those dark experiences, or, feeling like you're out of control or feeling like you're in the darkness, that there's been this clarity that's been gained, especially in regards to things that maybe were once hidden, or things that maybe you needed to understand or know or learn about yourself. Let's see here. I want to read to you from the guidebook about this tiger energy in regards to where you may be gaining clarity or have gained clarity, right? It's depending. Let me see if I can find it. Right. Yeah. Like I said, ease in darkness as well, like clarity in the darkness, find it, right? So lunar force, ease in darkness, a feminine energy, which again, here's the thing, right? That feminine energy are emotions. Okay, your intuition, your psychic or spiritual connection. Okay, so connecting more deeply with that. It says, the tiger hunts at night, at one with the silence, fearing nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour, and the tiger takes advantage of these boons. Spend some time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There is nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. When in balance, passionate, strong, sensual. When out of balance, overstimulated. To bring into balance, candle gazing, right? So again, where are you gaining clarity? You're gaining it in your own power, right? Being able to traverse the darkness without fear. And by darkness, I don't mean the night, right? When I'm speaking of this is coming through as like the darkness of your own shadow, right? Of your own truths. Okay. So to clarify, wow, look at this. Isn't this fascinating? So you do have the Father of Cups to clarify, which is interesting AF, because you have the Mother or Queen of Cups here at the top with what you've conquered. You now have the Father or the King of Cups with where you're gaining clarity. So again, this is a lot to do with emotions, a lot to do with intuition, spirituality, love, relationships, feelings, these sorts of things. Okay, but the King of Cups, right, is very wise, very calm, diplomatic, caring, tolerant, and we're talking about not only with others but with self. Okay, this is someone who carries themselves carries themselves rather in this way, in a diplomatic, calm, tolerant, caring way with authority, which is interesting because the tiger also is, an authoritative being, right? I also feel here with the King of Cups, this is that emotional control or the balance between your head and your heart space. Right? So I feel like, again, there's been clarity gained through our feelings and our emotions and what we've discovered intuitively, the connection that we have and what we know within us. That's how I feel this clarity has come through for you. I'm also very drawn to the fact, again, that we have the Father of Cups and the Mother of Cups. The Father of Cups being this very light background with a dark, and then it's like yin yang, right? So finding balance in yourself, I feel, is something that's taking place for you as well. Okay, so let's take a look at what you have the opportunity to change. Ooh, we do have the fire ant here. And here's the thing about this fire ant, Virgo. Okay. The fire ant has this tendency to like really mess people up. Okay. And every time I see this card, it never fails. I always think of like Naked and Afraid, where you have these people out in the jungle and in the forest, and they will stumble upon these ant colonies and get the crap. They will just get tore apart by, all these different types of like leaf cutter ants and fire ants and all sorts of things. Right? Because it's like you get too close and they just attack. And that's how I feel. I feel like you have this opportunity to change this kind of needing to have your defenses up all the time. And I feel like part of this is because, again, when you are in fear of your own emotions, it's like you're afraid of people getting too close and seeing them as well. You put up these walls to try to keep your emotions in, but also it keeps other people out. And then when people get too close, you kind of freak out a bit because you don't even know how to manage, how would you say, it's like you don't even know your own depth. Like you don't even know the range of emotion that you're capable of, or what you feel about yourself, or any of those sorts of things. And so when anybody else gets too close, it's like, oh, no, we can't do that. That makes me really uncomfortable. And so you kind of like self-sabotage, right? And that's how I'm seeing this right now. Okay, it's like we don't want to be biting people's heads off. And so it feels like you have the opportunity to change this through what you've learned. Right? Like you no longer have to sting and bite and be afraid of people kind of crossing your boundaries, right? Because you now understand yourself. There's no need to like hide and worry about people getting too close, right? And then that's how it feels. It's like previously you may have been that way. You may have been worried about people getting too close, and so you would like bite and gripe and sting and things like that, and get away from me. Okay. Yeah, look at this. We have the raccoon as well. So again, it's fascinating because this energy keeps showing up in many of the Tarotscopes for this month. So you are not alone. It's shown up all over the place. But for you, Virgo, I feel like you have the opportunity to take off the mask here. You don't have to hide anymore, right? You don't have to sit and pretend like I'm not emotional. I don't have emotions. I don't have feelings. I can handle it. I'm fine. It's like, no, like actually you're a human being, and actually you do have feelings and emotions, and actually you're supposed to be dealing with them and navigating them and understanding that they're incredibly valuable. Right? They carry deep wisdom for us, which is interesting because the elephant is also a representation of wisdom. Right? So it's this understanding that I don't have to hide from my emotions. I don't have to wear masks and pretend like I don't have them, because I do. And it's important for me to acknowledge them because they are sacred and they're valuable. And they carry the wisdom needed for me to grow, to evolve. And if I deny them, I stagnate my growth. Right? So I feel like you have the opportunity here to change that, to truly accept who you are and to not wear the masks and to not worry about people getting too close. And you can have the opportunity to open up and experience life in a much more full way, a much more fulfilling way, a much more truthful and authentic way, which is interesting because I do feel like there's some aspect of you that may say to yourself or may think that you are truthful or are authentic. But I want to lovingly say, Virgo, are you really? Let's be real here. Yeah, we have the Three of Swords. All right, so this is, I'm seeing this, which is interesting because I don't know that I've ever actually seen it this way. With this Three of Swords, like bundled by this red rope or string here, is I feel like you have the opportunity to stop carrying all this grief and suffering around with you, right? Because I'm seeing this again as like a bundle, as I'm just toting around my suffering, my grief, my heartache, or you have been, which is why you would likely bite and sting and gripe, because it's like, I don't want to feel things. I don't want to get too deep. I don't want, nope, you can't get too close because I have too much crap I'm already carrying around right now. I have too much suffering, too much heartache. I have too many things that I'm already toting around with me. And so I can't afford to let anybody get close. I can't afford to let anybody see that I have feelings and emotions, because if I open that pack, I have to deal with all of these swords. I have to deal with the heartbreak. I have to deal with the grief. I have to deal with the suffering. If I open up my emotions, I have to explore these things, acknowledge them. Can't hide from them, right? So I feel like you have the opportunity to change that, to release these swords, to put them down, right? We also have here the the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse is an energy of, I mean, it can be like living beyond your means. And the way that I'm actually seeing this is essentially like, okay, so Pentacles, or the Nine of Pentacles, can be this like spiritual material abundance. And with it being in the reverse and it being this energy of, let's say, living beyond your means, it feels like there's been this deprivation, if you will, of that spiritual, maybe even material abundance, where, you know, you feel depleted, you feel like you got nothing to give, you feel like you are, you know, trudging along the path and, you know, maybe haven't eaten in like a week or something, where it's like you're depleted. That's how I'm feeling about this card. And I feel like, again, there's the energy of having these walls up, which there's this as within, so without, as above, so below, or you get what you give. And so, you know, there's been this energy of like holding all this stuff hostage within yourself, or keeping it confined within the walls that you've built. And so not only are you not giving, but you're not getting, right? You're closed off to receiving as well. So I feel like you have the opportunity to change this. You have the opportunity to increase that abundance, to reach this space where maybe you're feeling more like it's, yeah, more abundant, like spiritually and materially, right? That there are rewards that are coming in, or able to reach you, right? Because it's like I'm seeing, I know that they're feathers, okay, but the way that I'm seeing this currently is like all of these pentacles are hiding behind this wall, right? Or it's all like sucked in. And so I feel like you have the opportunity to change that, to put the walls down and to welcome that more abundance, especially on a spiritual aspect. I mean, this could also be financial as well, but it really feels to me more like a spiritual connection, more like a spiritual abundance. And it's interesting that I find myself placing it next to this raccoon. So it's almost like taking the mask off puts down the walls, which opens you up to receiving, because again, you get what you give. So if you're giving walls and giving, closed off, I like type of energy and falsehood and hiding, then that is what will be shown to you. That is what you will experience. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hidden things, right? With the moon. I mean, again, you have the opportunity to change these things, to see past the illusion in a sense. It's how like just pure intuition. Like that's how I'm picking this up. Like this is about following your instincts. This is about again, just like seeing through the illusion. And I think the illusion is that you're hopeless, that, or maybe you felt that way in the past. Like the world's out to get you or something. And the truth is that's not it at all. You've just been denying yourself and therefore denying the world. It goes hand in hand. Right? So I feel like you have the opportunity to change this by seeing through the illusions, right? By actually following your instincts, by trusting your intuition and experiencing life differently. But again, I find it super freaking fascinating that you have the moon showing up so many times for you. Because again, the moon is illusions. It is the unconscious. It is hidden things. But it is also your intuition, right? By which you can gain clarity. Okay. Let's see what you might be celebrating now or in the future. You do have the hummingbird here, and I do love this for you. Because again, like I said, it feels like you have the opportunity here to change that spiritual abundance, right? Or even material abundance, perhaps, by dropping these masks, dropping the walls, letting people in, letting love in, letting yourself be authentic, feel your emotions, experience your emotions, trusting or listening to your intuition. The hummingbird is essentially this creature that wants to go where the nectar is sweet, right? It has to replenish itself. And so it wants to go where it knows that it can be replenished. So the way that I'm seeing this is what you might be celebrating in the future is finding that, right? The community, perhaps, the job, the living situation, whatever it is, where it is replenishing to you, where it feels abundant, where the nectar is sweet. I'm just going to read this to you. I feel like it can provide you with some incredible insight to apply to what you might be celebrating now or in the future. But please do keep in mind, Virgo, that this depends solely on your decisions. The trajectory of this reading depends on your choices. Okay, this is not set in stone. They never are. It's all about your energy, the choices you make, and what you just like how you decide to move, both emotionally, physically, within your spirit, within your mind, within your body. This is not just okay, this is going to happen. No, you have to put the work in, right? Okay, so let's see here. There we are. All right. So the hummingbird. Okay, again, what might you be celebrating now or in the future? The hummingbird is positive, enthusiastic, and spiritually resourceful. Inside the tiny hummingbird resides an endless, well of energy and positivity. The hummingbird's secret is that it has learned where to gather nectar and returns to those sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. This sacred elixir springs from many sources, but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet, every moment worth savoring. When in balance, smart, curious, loves to learn. When out of balance, pushy, insistent, and sharp. To bring into balance, take a class, right? So what might you be celebrating now or in the future, right? Discovering that endless well, finding those things that bring you that nourishment, that rejuvenation, that make you feel fulfilled, that make you feel enthusiastic about life, right? Again, maybe involving nature, creativity, or exploring your spirituality. So to clarify here, we do have the Daughter or Page of Wands, which is interesting AF. Why? Because the Daughter or Page of Wands is also a very enthusiastic, creative energy. So this is essentially saying, if you really want my honest opinion, Spirit saying, like I said, what I said, right? Do the things that make you feel enthusiastic about life, that rejuvenate you, nourish you, your soul, because that is what is going to be something that's worth celebrating. It's going to bring you fulfillment. It's wild. We also have here, ooh, the World in reverse. Okay, so even though this is in the reverse, it's still a very powerful card because it is the end of the major arcana. It is the completion of a cycle. However, right, again, what might you be celebrating now or in the future? The World in reverse is that energy of like missing pieces. And I feel like you could be finding those missing pieces through that creativity, through that nourishment of self and nourishment of your spirit, and finding that enthusiasm for life. I feel like it could bring you that completion, right? Because I feel like right now it's not there, right? It's not there. I feel like there's been this denial of self that you have been it seems to me, have been working on, right? But you have the opportunity to change things here by really dropping your swords. The heartbreak, the grief, the suffering, releasing these things that are not serving you, right? Trusting in your intuition, understanding that as within, so without, as above, so below. So if you want to experience like a zestful life, you have to be willing to create it, to give it, to dive deep, right? You can't just, I mean, and I know that there's like an easy button for everything now. You literally don't have to leave your house for like jack nothing if you don't really want to. I mean, sure, there are some circumstances, but you know, we have an easy button for damn near everything. And so you can't just sit at home thinking that this is all going to fall in your lap. You have to do the work. And if you're experiencing the same shit over and over and over, I mean, here's the thing, you have the wheel and the world both in the reverse. Okay? So if you want to experience something different, you have to do things differently. You have to put the work in. You can't just talk the walk. You have to actually walk it. Right? You can't just post spiritual memes and things like that and think that it's enough. It's not. Right? You have to embrace every facet of yourself. You have to again, see the emotions as being sacred and valuable in their context because they have so much wisdom to offer you, and accepting and embracing the full spectrum of what it means to be human. And that includes your emotions, that includes your intuition, that includes the pain. Okay, so I feel like if you open up to that nourishment and your creativity and finding that enthusiasm for life through those things, through those connections, then you may be able to flip this around and find that completion, close that cycle, right? Let's take a look at your guidance, advice, or encouragement. Yeah, you have milk and honey here, right? So another elephant showing up for you. And the milk and honey is like you have this opportunity to experience the sweetness that life has to offer, which is interesting because here it is twice. It's a very similar energy, right? But again, there's this, it's like overcome yourself, right? Overcome the obstacles, right? Like you want to be going to the land of milk and honey, as it were. And you're only going to get there by releasing fear. It's the only way. In addition, this is the number 51, which this is the last card in the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. So again, right, it's showing up as like there's the completion is there for you, but you have to be willing to move towards it, right? You have to be willing to essentially heal. Number 6, if we reduce 51, you have to be willing to heal. You have to be willing to cooperate with the universe, right? And bring in this harmony, or else it's going to elude you. We have here message in a bottle. So this is super fascinating AF. Look at here. This number, these numbers, 51, 1, 5. So you may be seeing repeating 1s and 5s, in which case there's certainly a message here for you. But with the message in a bottle, again, this reduces to 6, cooperation with the universe, healing, harmony, also alignment, adjustment. And the thing about the message in a bottle is you've got to be at the right place at the right time to get it, right? You can't like, I mean, that's how I'm seeing this. Like I feel like the universe is trying to speak to you, trying to talk to you. It has been, you're likely hearing it, although, you know, it seems to me throughout this reading that maybe you've been avoiding it or ignoring it or pretending that it's not there, or at least have in the past, right? Because we still have intuition over here with the moon and things that you have the opportunity to change. And so it's like, I feel like Spirit's trying to contact you, right? And we do have a messenger here as well with the daughter or page of wands. So I feel like, you know, the universe is trying to say, hey, this is what needs to happen. And you have the opportunity to acknowledge that or don't. But just know that if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. It really is that simple and that complicated. Why do I say it that way? Because healing is complicated. We're complicated beings. Okay? So, you know, I'm not saying by any means that it is like super, super easy or fun, but it is true. I'm going to read for you the oracle message here from the message in a bottle just to give you a little bit more clarity on this. But again, it's that energy of like, you have to be open to receiving that message to get it anyways. So do keep that in mind, okay? It says here, Spirit sends you signs when you ask for them. When you believe, you will receive them. And when you allow yourself to become fluent in the language of symbols, oracles, and omens, they may come to you as birds flying by, a logo on a truck, and a song on the radio. Expect confirmation that you're pointed in the right direction. Keep your ears open, for someone might say just the right thing that will give you the answer to your query. Today, your message is this: Spirit hears you, and the reply is favorable. Okay? So again, right, it's just that reiteration of you have, like, your guides, your angels, God, whatever you want to refer to it as, or whatever it is that you communicate with, can only reach you at the level that you are willing to receive it. So if you're like, okay, I hear my intuition, but I'm going to ignore it. Well, I mean, you can only do so much. We have free will here. And you have the free will to live a lie. You have the free will to deny help. You have the free will to keep doing whatever you're doing and having the same results. It's your choice. Right? So this is, I feel spirit showing up to say, right, your guides, your angels showing up to give you the advice to say, hey, we're trying to lead you to the land of milk and honey. We're trying to help you to get there, to experience life in a much more fulfilling way, where you feel nourished. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you open up and follow your intuition. Allow it to lead you, to release the things that are preventing you or creating resistance between your intuition, your angels, your guides, your higher self, God, whatever you, again, however you want to label it, I don't care. But that's the message here. You have here as well, number 4, higher power. So again, right, 4s are often about literally like the divine communicating with you, supporting you. You're not alone. But again, right, it's just confirmation, I feel, of, your intuition has been speaking to you. Again, the moon is here. We've had this energy showing up again and again with all of this cups energy that's out as well. Right? So this is absolutely about you acknowledging that higher power and being encouraged to do so. Of course, use your discernment. It's very important that you do. But regardless, or nonetheless, spirit, God, source, universe is trying to communicate with you. Your angels are trying to communicate with you. Your intuition is trying to communicate with you. You have to be open to receiving it, though. And finally, we have the number 3, between worlds. Yeah, so, there's an element here of, again, acknowledging that you are essentially a human being and a spiritual being. You are a human being and a soul, a physical being and an etheric being. Right? You're literally living in 2 worlds. And there's the need to acknowledge that. We do have the number 3 here, which is about growth, certainly. So I do feel like that this is important, right? And again, creating that balance. Because a lot of what's come through here is about balance, right? Balancing your emotions, your head and your heart space, or, the more, let's say, logical way of thinking and the more feeling way of moving. Because there's a logical approach to things and there's a spiritual or feeling or emotional approach to things. And I feel like there's this need for balance because you are both. Right? You are both in the physical world and the etheric realms. You are both a human being and a soul. And you can't, you have to acknowledge both in order to create balance. And in order to grow as well. Also, 3s are about expression, which is truth, authenticity. There's a need for that. And to take that even one step further, 3s are about the Trinity. It's often the number of the ascended masters, like Christ, for example, right? Or Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So again, it's the acknowledgement. I'm going to read to you just very briefly the oracle message for the number 3 as well. And again, apply this to advice, encouragement, or guidance that you may need as you move forward. But just to give you, again, even more depth and understanding, it says here, between the world is where you must let go of the tendency to make assumptions. This is a time when you are unable to see what is ahead. Cultivate curiosity and trust the process of change and growth. You are done learning the lessons of recent experiences. In this place, between what was and what will be, is a state of making and unmaking and making again, What is essential now is to admit not knowing. There is great freedom and power to be unleashed. A mystery that is not yours to understand weaves the web of life. within a divine matrix of consciousness greater than your own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, desires, and decisions. The seeds that were planted in the past begin to take root, but what surfaces will probably not be what you expect. When you are between the worlds, you are invited to see with the curious eyes of a child glimpsing a rainbow for the first time. Do so, and you will not be disappointed. So, I mean, really, I feel intuitively there's a message here of like, don't be afraid of what's coming or what you don't know. It's okay to not know, right? Trusting in that higher power that is trying to lead you to the land of milk and honey by giving you all of the signs. Okay? So, of course, and as always, take that as it resonates with you. Thank you so much for joining me, Virgo. It has been an absolute pleasure to read for you, and I pray that something here has resonated for you or been valuable for you in some way, shape, or form. If it has, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, subscribing, or commenting below. It really does help the channel to grow and tells YouTube that there may be something here that's valuable for someone else, so I greatly appreciate that. I hope that you have an incredibly powerful, expansive, and insightful month. Take care of your beautiful, beautiful, growing, awakening soul. Peace be with you and within you. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.